31 won a Grammy.
What's up, people? What's up? Ooh, a little hot on the mic, a little hot. Today we're gonna be talking about. I'm gonna be bringing to the forefront. We're gonna open up the phone lines. Welcome to Pontiac WYAC. I'm just putting my hashtags on and everything like that. But today we're gonna be talking about the LA riots and the difference between black people, Latino community. Look like black people want to stay out of this one, y'all. Look like black people want to stay out of this one. I'm gonna have to open up the phone line. If y'all want to talk about it, y'all can talk about it. But you know how we do. We bring in the real. We gonna talk the real. You want to talk? We gonna talk. So hashtag Detroit, hashtag ICE, hashtag. Let me see. Let me just hit at followers and that, and we just go on to it. At highlights and at followers. See if we can do that. Boom, save, and let's go ahead and just hit the share button. Go ahead and share this to some multiple groups here, and then we on and popping, y'all. All right, we're sharing this to a couple of groups. Anybody that want to chime in can chime in. I'm going to put up the phone lines in a moment, but today we're going to be talking about what's going on with the riots and in our communities. It's going on in Los Angeles. Look like it's sprouting off in Chicago and different places, but we're getting a universal sentiment that, you know, black people like sitting this one out. So we're going to go back and we're going to listen to what some people saying, like some elders, and let's hear it. Let's see what they talking about.
I want black folks to come and fight with y'all. Come stand on the front line like we always have. But ain't this the same group that refuses to stop saying the N-word? This ain't the same group that was being racist in Zoe Spencer comments when she was going back and forth with that Hispanic creditor?
To all African American citizens of the United States of America, I think, sit your butt down. Don't you dare march. Don't you dare demonstrate. Don't you do a thing. We did what we needed to do in the 1960s. Do you understand?
The issue is black people, black Americans specifically, our bodies have always been used as shields. And in 2025, we done learned and we are choosing to protect ourselves, protect our peace, protect our lineage. Because let me tell you something. Y'all already know what would happen if a whole bunch of us decided today that we was going to...
So I think that y'all get the sentiment here. Let's go ahead and skip and let's keep going.
Go down there and get in them streets. Y'all know just as well as we know what the will happen.
They tear gassed us, shoved elders to the ground, committed vandalism, and then blamed us. They shot rubber bullets at kids, and then had the nerve to call us violent. We showed up with our voices. They showed up with riot gear. We screamed, "Don't shoot," and they loaded that clip anyway.
So white people decided to join y'all. They said, "F it. We gonna join y'all. We gonna ride with y'all," right? As soon as them white people got out there, y'all all over the news and shit, rioting. You know what I'm saying? Throwing rocks and shit, bro. Throwing bottles and shit, bro. Just like we said, as soon as somebody came out there to join y'all, y'all was gonna start throwing shit. Didn't we say that?
Right now in LA, the streets are lit. Latinos are out there fighting hard, protesting, risking it all, and they're looking around like, where y'all at? talking to us, to black folks. But here's the thing. We've been fighting. We've been bleeding. We've been marching. We've been screaming since day one, and now some of us are sitting this one out, and folks are mad about it. But before you judge, I want you to really think about something. How can you expect justice on land that was stolen in the first place? How can anything be fair when ICE is showing up at graduations like it's normal? How can we all fight together when we're still fighting just to exist? I'm going to show you something, but don't just watch. Feel them. Ask yourself, are we all really in the same fight, or are we just standing in the same fire? Watch this.
Okay, on this Good Tuesday, I'm going to ruffle some of y'all feathers. Here we go. The amount of people who are intentionally trying to gaslight black Americans into getting into these protests and getting into a fight that is not ours. It is not ours. I do not want y'all to ever feel like we have something against immigrants, because that ain't the issue. That ain't never been an issue. The issue is black people, black Americans specifically, our bodies have always been used as shields. And in 2025, we done learned and we are choosing to protect ourselves, protect our peace, protect our lineage. So let me tell you something. Y'all are...
So right now, from the sentiment of the mass majority of black people, right now, what the sentiment is kind of showing is that people are looking for support. They're looking for support as far as, support with the protest, quote unquote. But right now at this moment, they're not getting these, people are not getting the support of the black people. Like they want black people to go ahead and join these protests. But what black people are understanding in Los Angeles or different communities is that, hey, we don't get no help. This is what the sentiment is. Let's go ahead and listen. If you want to pop in, pop in.
What would happen if a whole bunch of us decided today that we was going to get the fuck up and go down there and get in them streets? Y'all know just as well as we know what the fuck will happen. We've done it before. You hear me? We've done it before. And I'm saying we because I've actually done protests. I have a real issue with people, especially those who have been able to come to this country and do well for themselves and then try to make it seem like we're wrong for not wanting to get into these fights. Because here's the real truth. Here's the hard truth. As black people, we fighting every day. Every time we wake up and our feet hit the floor, it's a fight. It's a fight because the entire system is structured and has been structured on our backs and against us. They used us to build the system against us. Point blank period. Okay? We have a fight every day. We're tired. We're tired. And a lot of our generation, millennials and younger, we've learned. We've learned. We know better. And we telling the elders, y'all, sit down. Sit down. That's the problem. Y'all used to us being emotionally reactive to everybody else's causes and issues. And that ain't no shade to any of the people who have to endure any encounter with ICE. Because let me tell you something. What I know I have the capacity to do is when this started happening, when they started coming to Chicago, the first thing I did was call my Latino friends that...
So go ahead and mute that real quick. So what's going on is this. Look, at the end of the day, we got some real issues going on around the country. We talked about this earlier on with Pontiac WYAC. If you can chime in, if you want to be a guest, let me know. Pop in the comments. I will give you the phone number. I will give you the link. You can pop on and we can talk about this. But we want to talk about what's going on in Los Angeles. It's going to be popping up in Chicago. Down there in Florida, they say, hey, don't bring that down there with these protests, quote unquote. We seeing a lot of stuff where, the black and brown community is a little bit out of an odd at this moment because they feel like the Latino community wants some support or more support from the black community. And what's happening, it looks like, as far as social media, we seeing it and we hearing it. They saying, no, we're going to sit this one out. We're going to sit this one out. I just want to play a couple of things for you to listen to. Tell me what you think about, tell me what you guys think about this. Let's go ahead and just play a couple of things and just tell me what you guys think about this. I want you to chime in and we can talk about it. You could come on, be a guest. Pontiac WYAC, we tackle hard topics. This is what we do, y'all.
I want black folks to come and fight with y'all. Come stand on the front line like we always have. But ain't this the same group that refuses to stop saying the N-word? This ain't the same group that was being racist in Zoe Spencer comments when she was going back and forth with that Hispanic creditor?
To all African American citizens of the United States of America, I think, sit your butt down. Don't you dare march. Don't you dare demonstrate. Don't you do a thing. We did what we needed to do in the 1960s. Do you understand?
The issue is black people, black Americans specifically, our bodies have always been used as shields. And in 2025, we done learned and we are choosing to protect ourselves, protect our peace, protect our lineage. So let me tell you something.
So we see as the sentiment is kind of going around today is that, look, black people, stay out of this situation. That's what we hearing. What do you guys think? I got my opinion on it, but we talked about immigration. We talked about illegal immigration. We talked deportation. We talked about ICE. We talked about all these things earlier or late last year going into the election. You know what I'm saying? What's going on right now really ain't a big surprise. I knew it was going to be happening. At this moment, you know what I mean? ICE is active, you know what I mean? ICE is active and they are going around doing their job. And it's not going to stop, y'all. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. At the end of the day, you know what I mean? A lot of people got their opinions on the deportation. I want to know what y'all feel about the deportation. This is a big issue. You know, we all know some people that, might be here illegally or, whatever, or know family members of people that we know that might be here illegally. But this is a real topic and it's hitting every community. You know what I mean? Even a community like Pontiac, there's, ICE has been around, floating around Pontiac. It's been floating around Pontiac and grabbing up people and deporting them, So there is I know there has been protest here. There's nothing that gotten out of hand here. Not certainly not to the extent of Los Angeles. But what's going on in Los Angeles is horrendous, is ridiculous. And a lot of people are at this point right now, not citizens, I'm not per se, but people that are protesting, quote unquote, / rioters, because what I'm seeing is not really protesting going on a lot in Los Angeles. What I'm seeing is riots, you know what I'm saying? And you seeing even gang members, you seeing Crips, you seeing other black gangs like, yo, you don't bring this into our community. It's like, stay out, you know what I mean? So it's, Chicago is kind of halfway bracing themselves for what's going on. Different cities or sanctuary cities are kind of bracing themselves for kind of what's going on, you know what I mean? So I just wonder what you guys think about it, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna tell you like this. It's never a good thing to have families broken up. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and read this. Woo, that's a big one. Let me make this big right here. The main point for me, the main point for me, this creates nothing but division, and that's why we can never move collectively. And humanity is humanity. You can sit on your ass for immigration, but in the meantime and in between time, it is not the time to build together. It's time to build together as a collective, operate in spirit, collaborate, and not competition. Damn, I've been out of school that long, I can't read. But let's continue. In the meantime and in between time, we are doing but elevate to protect ourselves and communities and rebuild, because that's what's really missing is that kind of energy. That colloquial word right there, and that what's going on is nothing is without community. To see community and unity, community, only division. The math to get TED Talk today. Okay. Hey, as you see, my reading skills are terrible right now, but I get the overall gist of what you're saying. Yeah, right. Hey, I'm reading all to the hell, but honestly, let's ask ourselves: should black people get involved in the protest? Because black people are being called out at the moment it looks like black people are being called out at the moment to be a part of the protest. And the sentiment, it looks like by a lot of black women, is that we sitting this one out. We ain't touching it. We not even bothering. We not even trying to get involved in this one. It's kind of like, black people are feeling like, from what I'm gathering as a collective and what I'm gathering far as from what I'm getting off social media, is like, hey, we never really got the support of your community anyway. So now we gonna put our feet on the line and our neck on the chopping board to deal with y'all. Because at the same time, if we go out there, hey, look, they about to start cracking heads, y'all. Straight up. You got the Marines out there. The Marines ain't nothing to play with. You start attacking these agents and these buildings, you about to start to get dealt with. And so is it for something like black people to go ahead and get themselves, put into? I mean, honest with you, it's a real question. So do you feel, let's ask you a plain question, Black. Should we join the protest or should we not? Just give me that answer. Should we join the protest or should we not? Should we activate ourselves or insert ourselves into protests, which are dang near halfway really riots at this point? Should we do that? This is a test. There are testing pioneers that have control. You say they're testing. I don't know. Okay, that's the question. Answer that one. Okay, and no, we shouldn't. I don't think so. Absolutely not. And you say they're testing binaries for executive control over the military. I don't know what they're doing on that front, but I know for certain they showing a lot of restraint. But I know when you call in the Marines, that's different from the National Guard. The Marines is on some other shit. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's really, it's really a sad situation, because I understand that, a lot of families are being broken up. But a lot of people, on the other hand, are looking at this situation like, yo, for real, let's go ahead and talk down and dirty. Now let's just talk about it. A lot of people are looking at this thing and saying, hey, you over here, number one, you over here illegally. And now you over here tearing up stuff and you mad because you ain't getting free shit no more. That's pretty much how people are looking at it, and especially black people that need benefits and want benefits but can't get benefits because they feel like people that's here illegally are taking all of them, even with Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, a lot. So when people come over here illegally, let's just get it and talk about it, and let's just talk about it the real way. When people are here illegally, you still have to support them. And now, we could be building together as a collective. In the meantime, that's not what we're doing. We're doing exactly what we've been doing for years and sitting on our ass and start rebuilding our communities. Well, what do you mean by that? Like, how are we going to build with who? Who are we rebuilding with? With another? Are we rebuilding with people that are here illegally? I'm trying to understand when you're saying rebuilding. Are we rebuilding within ourselves? You know what I mean? Who are we rebuilding with? Because you can't rebuild with people that ain't supposed to be here. And at this point, it's talking about, the rebuilding of our communities. Black folk, at the end of the day, a lot of us is a lot of smoke and talk. Rebuilding and doing this and rebuilding and blah, blah, blah. We ain't rebuilding nothing. There's really no unity within us like that. So it's hard for us to even have or unify with other groups. When other groups really don't sympathize with us. For real. If we really want to talk about that. No groups really sympathize with us like that. Best, the destruction is bamboos because at the end of the day, they're overachieving. All of this is put towards the authoritarian state and testing the boundaries of the law and direction, trying to overwhelm the legal system of this man. Well, yeah, I see where you going with it. Yeah, and I feel where you saying a lot of the stuff that you're saying, but I'm looking at I'm looking at things tonight on a microcosm, on a micro level. You know what I mean? Let me see here. And the problem is because the things go as direction that their heritage foundation and product. I get what you're saying. I guess I'm like I told you. I think I'm looking at it on a level of should they be here and should they not, and should black people quote unquote join the fight to go ahead and protest. You gave me that answer of no, you don't think so. But when you're saying rebuild and things like that, in order to rebuild, a lot of times things have to be blown the hell up. Sometimes in order to rebuild a lot of situations, things have to be broken up, broken down, tore down. In order to be broken, to be built, sometimes you have to be broken. And sometimes, we have to be in the most vulnerable state of doing the things or being in situations where we don't like to be and uncomfortable. And this type of situation is never a good thing to have families broken up and things like that. But we knew that this was coming. This was the platform that he was running on, and I was with it. I'm actually with that. You know what I'm saying? Because the more resources that are being taken out, I don't mind nobody being here or shouldn't be here illegally. I mean, be here legally, be here legally. But if it's illegal, it's illegal. And at the end of the day, if it's illegal, it's illegal. And if you shouldn't be here illegally, I can't go to damn Paris, France. I can't go to Mexico and be there illegally. I can't go Jamaica. I can't go to Canada and be there illegal. There's certain things that I have to do to be there legally. And if I'm not, they're going to ship myself right back here. And a lot of things that, people get away with here when they come here, we can't get away with not going somewhere else. You know what I mean? And people got to respect that part of the law. I hate and I don't like to see people or families broken up or situations like that. That's never a great or good thing. But at the end of the day, we got to look at the rule. And black people shouldn't be feeling forced at the end of the day to be a part of a cause when a lot of black people are expressing this sentiment that, let me play some more. Let me play some more. What's up, E? It's been a minute, bro. Hey, man. Hey, E. Good looking out for giving me a call, man. I'm going to appreciate you real quick, dog. Thanks for giving me a call or texting me, man, through my little hard time, my troubles. I appreciate you, bro. We going to talk and get with that. You know what I mean? I appreciate you, bro. I've been chilling, been trying to get back to normal, man. So I say, hey, the best way I can get back to normal is get back on the line, bro. You know what I mean? Get back on the line. Today we're talking about today we're talking about, let me not say it like that. Today we're talking about what's going on with the riots in Los Angeles and how Mexican people or Latinos, I don't want to say it like that, Latinos are pressuring, it seemed like, black people to join the fight when a lot of black people said we ain't joining this one. A lot of black people said they ain't joining this one. Let's go ahead and hear what they got to say, our people.
That had black interests, Latino interests, Asian interests at heart, where if you look at the sentiments of what that vote represents, half of your community voted for this. Half of your community said F you to black people. Half of your community said we don't care about you. Half of your community said you wanted to be white aligning and white adjacent, and now you're being reminded of the fact that you're not.
And before anybody starts romanticizing protest, let me just say it plain as day. No confusion. We are not going out there. Not this time. We are not going out there. A whole lot of people are planning to hit the streets, right? I know y'all have heard the buzz. Chants, signs, cameras, emotions are going to be high. I get it. Hell, I've been out there before. But the last time we marched, what happened? They tear gassed us, shoved elders to the ground, committed vandalism, and then blamed us. They shot rubber bullets at kids, and then had the nerve to call us violent. We showed up with our voices. They showed up with riot gear. We screamed, "Don't shoot," and they loaded that clip anyway. And let's be clear, this administration, they've let us know in no uncertain terms. Black people in the street.
All right, so we got this lady talking. I'm with her, but I don't really. Let's go to the let's skip her.
When a nigga really needs you, where the fuck you at? And we not finna sit here and start acting like y'all for real. And this goes for you legals, illegals, Mexicans, Caribbeans, Africans, whatever the fuck y'all wanna call yourselves. The only reason white people let y'all in this country legally, for the legal ones, is because they knew you would conform to white supremacy as an economic refugee. Right. So you didn't come here to help a nigga. You didn't come here to support a nigga. You came here for opportunity and benefits. Because in America, there's only two ideologies. Either it's pro-black or you conform to white supremacy. And you've been conforming to white supremacy. So I feel sorry for you no kind of way. Come get y'all. Listen, if it's too hot, get the fuck out the kitchen. If you ain't no dog for real, get the fuck out the pen.
Hey family, you see this comment by this Latino gentleman saying that they coming for them and next to coming for the African Americans? See, that's the heart of what a lot of these Latinos feel. That shows right there that they don't even care about us. Because why would you want someone else to go through what you're going through? But here's the gag. They're not ever going to do this to us again. Regardless of their motive for bringing our ancestors here, we were brought here. They wanted us here, regardless if it was for a selfish, ungodly reason. And then we built this very nation that they have benefited from. And here's the real gag, sir. We built the nation that you and your people now benefit from. So what will not and ever happen is them deporting us. Because first, you got to know where you took us from and our ancestors from. Second of all, just like the natives, we have a right to be here. You understand? So my advice to you, focus on you and yours. Don't worry about the African American, the black community, because I'm telling you, at the end of the day, we will stick together. And by any means necessary, if something jumps off and someone feels froggy and want to leap, trust and believe we are ready for it.
Uh-oh.
But again, we sitting this one out. This is your fight. Now stop minding black people's business.
Black people, did we not call this shit? Did we not say that this shit was gonna happen the way that it's happening? And that's why we minding our goddamn business. Oh, y'all don't know what I'm talking about? Let me give you a recap of what was said. We said that those protests was peaceful as hell, didn't we? We weren't seeing no pepper spray, no attack dogs. We weren't seeing no water hose, none of that shit, no violence, none of it. Then they kept on putting out them videos. Black people, where y'all at? Why y'all not standing with us? Black people, where y'all at? Why y'all not standing with us? And we was like, shit, we minding our business, bro. Because as soon as we get out there, y'all gonna start rioting and shit. Y'all gonna start throwing shit, right? Ain't that what the fuck we said? We said not one brick has been thrown. We said nobody is rioting. But as soon as we get out there, y'all gonna try some shit. So we stuck to our guns, and we didn't come out there, and we didn't join y'all, right? So white people decided to join y'all. They said, fuck it. We gonna join y'all. We gonna ride with y'all, right? As soon as them white people got out there, y'all all over the news and shit, rioting. You know what I'm saying? Throwing rocks and shit, bro. Throwing bottles and shit, bro. Just like we said, as soon as somebody came out there to join y'all, y'all was gonna start throwing shit. Didn't we say that? We said the National Guard ain't there yet. As soon as somebody else join y'all, they gonna bring out the National Guard. Guess who's in this shit now? The fucking National Guard. And they talking about bringing the Marines out. We seen this shit coming a mile away. And if they doing that type of shit out there with white people out there with y'all, imagine what the fuck they would have been doing if we would have joined y'all. Nah. I feel like us as black people, we got a battle coming up pretty soon. I don't know what it is, but I feel a battle brewing, man. Like, y'all on y'all own with this one, man. Take care.
There is an important distinction that's not being made. One group is saying,
hey, we got to talk about it, yo. We got to talk about it because Man, that was a mouthful, brother. Kind of put it out there. I mean, it's kind of like, for the most part, black people just feel like, this time, nah, we straight. And it felt like black people was being pressured to be a part of that protest, quote unquote. But a lot of this stuff turned into rioting. You know what I mean? Like, I really want to talk to my guy that's down there in Los Angeles, Kyrie Crump, and see where his mind is at. But what I'm about to do, man, is I'm going to open up the phone line. And if anybody got something to say about this situation, I know I got a couple people on YouTube. Watching. Please call 248-905-1128. 248-905-1128. Please feel free to call. I would like to hear what you got to say when it comes to this situation about what's going on with this situation here. Let's see what you got to say. Are we really ready for it? I do not see anybody in our communities ready for anything because they do not have to come to us with violence. They come with policy, legislation, ready community garden. Things like that are important. But community is traumatized, paranoid, competitive, selfish, and we have human problems, not a race problem. Ultimately, yes, in the grand scheme of things, absolutely right. We do have a human problem. We do have a human problem, but we still got that sense of tribalism and race issue, at the end of the day. And I know that's not going anywhere. 248-905-1128, 248-905-1128. I know in everybody community, we got situations like this, and we seeing stuff like this pop up where the agents are coming. They coming for, they coming to, get these people that are illegally here. They not, look, at the end of the day, they're not picking up people that are not illegally here. You can't do that. You know what I'm saying? So, they're not getting people that's not illegally here. The question is, should they be getting people that's illegally here? The question is, how do you feel about them picking up or getting people that's here illegally? Do you feel like they should be doing it or not? Do you feel like, nah, just let them stay? And I'm going to tell you the reason why I'm going to tell you what I feel like the whole situation was about this. And you got to ask yourself, why was the border opened up like that over the last couple of years? Why was the border open where people could just come in like that? I'm not just talking about Latin America, South America. I'm not talking about people came to the United States all over the world, from China illegally, Africa illegally. People was coming all over from everywhere illegally. We had open border, nobody. The whole thing was this, y'all. The whole reason behind letting people come through the border like they did, the whole reason behind it was to allow people to come here, gain citizenship, ultimately, and be able to be a voting base or a voting bloc. Because honestly, overall, the Democratic Party, seeing that they was losing its foothold, let's just look at the numbers and look at things of what they are and what the truth was. The Democratic Party as a whole, it's just the numbers. We're seeing that they were losing the base, which one of their major base was the black community, black women, black community in a whole. And say, you know what, we can't really depend on this base like we used to. We got to find a new base. And what other reason, you got to ask yourself, what other reason would it be conducive for a country? Ask yourself, what benefit did the United States have by having an open border? What benefit? Who would that benefit by having an open border? Any country having an open border where people could just come in illegally, take refuge, get free benefits, health care, all that. What country would benefit? Any country would benefit for that. What country, what would be the benefit of any country? Accepting people that can't pay a tax base into the country. You got to ask yourself, what was it? What was all of that for? And the reason I believe is because to become or to fast track people into citizenship and get a new voting block of people. So the minorities or the people that's already here, they didn't have to cater to as much. You didn't have to really solicit the black vote. You didn't really have to solicit or cater to black people as much, even though you really didn't do it in the first place. But a lot of the initiatives really wouldn't have to be put in place, because you got a new voting block at this point. You have a new situation where you worrying about the new minority that's going to really support you, because in they vested interest is we're going to vote this way. We're going to vote for who let us in illegally, because we're going to vote that way, because if we don't vote, then if we get somebody else in there, they're going to deport us. So that whole voting block, that was the whole reason to, in my opinion, which is the only really real reason why they did that, is because now we're going to have a brand new voting block. There's no other good reason to do that. There really was no other good reason to do that. I mean, the amount of people that came over here illegally, it was crazy. And we all know that. It just was. I think there's a better way, snatching women and children, breaking. Okay, now let's go ahead and go and address that. And you're right, and I'm feeling you with that. You said you think it's a better way, snatching women and children, breaking families up, sending American citizens to prison camps. That's wild. We did get Japanese. That's wild. Did we forget Japanese internment camps? Good people are getting caught up in this and this. Well, I haven't heard of anybody. You have to call on that. You know, I agree with you a lot of stuff right there, but you know, what would you suggest? You know what I mean? Let's just be for real. What would you suggest? I like this comment, but it needs some more meat on the bones. Like, what would you suggest? I think there's a better way, snatching women and children, breaking up families. All right. But if they're here illegally, though, what do you expect? If I was somewhere illegal, if I was in Canada, if I was in whatever, they'd do the same thing. Snatching up women and children, breaking families up, sending American citizens to prison camps. I haven't heard of that one. I haven't heard of American citizens being sent to prison camps. Did we forget Japanese internment camps? We ain't forget that, or haven't, we haven't forgot, but it's like good people are getting caught up in this, and it sucks. And absolutely, and I'm not saying that people that's getting caught up in these situations. I'm absolute people that are getting caught up in the situation with deportation. Absolutely, I know are some good people. Are some good people. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think it's, based on if it's legal or illegal. Here, what do you do? I mean, we got to really look at it and take, and just be real about the situation. Let's really, 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 really look at it. Let's really think about it and take our it ain't like taking your feelings out of it, but really, we can we look at it in a way. How do you, what will another country do that? How do you sustain what you have if you let people come in and do things the wrong way? People who have been here for years, who are waiting in the overwhelmed legal. Let me see. You say people who have been here for years are waiting in the overwhelmed legal system. They are doing things the right way, followed the rules. Okay. Yeah, and then there are people that have been here. Yeah, there are people that have been here. But what do you do? I mean, the thing is, it's just a process. And unfortunately, it's a long process. Unfortunately, it is a long process. But what do you do? I mean, just because it's a long process, you can't stay. You can't stay. You can't stay illegally. You just can't. I mean, you just can't. There is a human issue to it, and I do get it. I do get it. But I do also get it on the other way too. I do get it both ways. I really understand on both scenarios. They need to fix the immigration policy, but they need to fix the immigration policy, but not everyone they are snatching came here illegally. Well, I haven't heard of them snatching people that's illegally. The people that are here legally. Now, I think if you getting yourself involved with these riots, quote, protests and riots, yeah, it's gonna get snatched up. But I haven't heard of anything. I haven't heard of them snatched. If you're harboring people that are here, of course you're gonna get snatched up. I haven't heard of anybody that's legally a citizen. You can't snatch them up and and do what to them. You can't. They're a citizen. But if you're breaking the law, yeah, you're gonna get snatched up. Just like if I'm harboring a fugitive, harboring somebody that's wanted, or I'm gonna be snatched up too. You say that's what you think they would initially was about. I don't, probably, maybe, but they turned into something else at this point. And at this point, it's not helping. It's not helping their plight. It's not going to stop it. It's not, it's not going to stop what's going on. It's not going to stop what's going on. It's really not going to stop what's going on when it comes to, now that it has turned violent or whatever the case may be, it's definitely not about to help. Now that you got the Marines involved, and you got Americans, quote unquote, as a unifying front, almost saying like, yeah, y'all tearing up shit, yeah, you got to go. But then the distraction came, then open borders and the false narratives about criminals. See, I can't agree with you with that. There were a lot of criminals coming over. There was extremely a lot of criminals coming over the border. A lot. You know what I mean? A lot. And, it's just the truth. A lot. Let's look and see what's, what we got here.
First, guess whose name gets written in chalk next? Us. We don't get to just protest. We get criminalized. We get targeted. We get erased. So before anyone...
Let's see here.
It's hurt. You don't have no clout in these streets, and you don't know what I'm doing. And I ain't had to tell you any of it. But since you feel like you arrogant and you can condescend, I'll show you what it look like. And like we said, we ain't going.
Saying the N-word. This ain't the same group that was being racist in Zoe Spencer comments when she was going back and forth with that Hispanic creator. But now y'all want our help. Okay, interesting. Those were my initial thoughts, right? It's their war, let them deal with it. But that's an emotional response. Okay, that's pure bitterness, that's wrong. There's no sense of righteousness in that mindset. And even though it's not our fight, it is our fight. Okay, because today it's Hispanics and Latinos. But the only reason why we're not grouped up with them is because technically, legally, we were born here. Okay, he arresting them. That nigga trying to annihilate our whole community. And to those of y'all that's making the argument of, well, undocumented immigration is illegal. This what happen when you break the law anywhere. Bro, this nigga put out a quota. This nigga Trump put out a quota, meaning these officers are required to meet a certain number of arrests. Anytime you put a quota on something, bro, it's bound for you to run into some outlawed, unlawful shit. You forcing the issue. This nigga dropping 2,000
That's where we
national.
are. That's where we are right now, folks. That's where we are right now. So let's talk about it. If you want to talk about it, you could please call in. Please call in. Black Mama, thank you so much for just the participation. Hey, my homeboy down there in Mississippi. Hey, bro, you got to get online. My man Chris Donald from Pontiac, but down there in Mississippi. You know what I mean? You got to start your show, bro. But yeah, I'm on. I'm going to give you a call real soon, man. But tonight we're talking about, for a few minutes, not to hold you guys too long. We're talking about what's happening with the immigration. We're talking about what's happening with the deportation. And what do you feel like, and what's your opinion? It's not really a right or wrong, you know what I mean? And that's what I say about Pontiac WYAC. You free to feel how you want to feel. A lot of people are scared. I'm be honest with you. A lot of people are scared to voice their opinion nowadays because either, you know, they scared to lose their job, lose their friends, or lose something. I'm gonna tell you, I ain't got neither. I ain't got no friends and I ain't got no job. So what can I lose? You know what I'm saying? So it's like I could just say what the hell I want to say, but I'm saying it in truth to me, not trying to not trying to be, you know, bagging on anybody or disrespectful, but you know, I do have a sense of what's right and wrong and the way I do see things, and I have my own opinion, and I respect everybody that have their own opinion that can, you know, elaborate on it, and I'm down with that. Let me see here. So 248-905-1128 if you'd like to call in, if you'd like to leave a message. How can other countries have millions of people protesting peacefully and we can hardly achieve or collect? I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why other countries can do that. If we are all in agreement and current administration is corrupt, why are we fighting? This is the point. So I'm going to tell you why you know, people can demonstrate in other countries in a way, quote unquote, because really you can't, but in a lot of countries you can. But you know why? Because they know if I went to China and I wanted to demonstrate, I know good and well them Chinese will kill you. You can't go over there doing all that shit that you do over here. If they got some type of protest or whatever, it's in a way that they know they're respecting, like, you know what, I can lose my life today. A lot of times here, the way that we riot and protest, you gonna lose your life and you can, but it's a lot of restraint you gotta give it to it. It's a lot of restraint that's given by this government in a way that is not in a lot of other countries. You know what I'm saying? Where like you got a place, you don't hear a protest in Russia. Not really. You know, you don't hear a protest in China or Iraq. You know what I'm saying? You really don't hear about stuff like that. You hear about war. That's when there's an insurrection. That's when like the people or the public done had enough and they trying to overthrow governments and insurrections. But far as protesting and they don't really do that because they know that, Korea, you don't hear about people doing that because they would die. Let me see. You talk about that in your book, not immigration but standing on your truth, right? So yeah, I mean, in a lot of ways, you know what I mean, like this don't happen in a lot of different countries because of the quote unquote freedoms, quote unquote, that we supposedly have: freedom of speech and freedom to assemble, freedom to bear arms, freedoms to, these rights that we have, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? It's like other countries really don't have these things going on for them. They, most countries are authoritarian in most cases, so here is a lot of, quote, freedom to talk and speak and stuff like that to a certain extent. You're still gonna get punished, but like in other countries, you kind of get it right away. You don't get to say too much too fast and too long. This country will get rid of you too now, but it seems to be a little bit longer in the tooth that they had handled it. Like these other countries let you don't last long doing protest. But we haven't evolved past that. In these modern times, all we do is riot. It looks like a temper tantrum at this point because what actually changed after the riots? Not much. Not much. But I think as black people, for real, when it comes to rioting, I think black people learned a lot from rioting. We kind of learned that it really don't solve a whole lot. If you know, you're not real. So Black Mama, I know you in Tennessee, but see in Detroit, for instance, we had riots. My dad was in one of the riots, actually. It was a riot in Pontiac, actually, back in the 60s or whatever, and my dad was in that too. But after Martin Luther King got assassinated, and then there was there was also a riot after it was a murder in Detroit, a raid at a basically after hours little gambling joint, and man, that was one of Detroit's biggest riots, or if not the biggest riot. There's a movie about it. But what black people I think learned about rioting is that when you mess up your own community, it ain't gonna ever come back. It took Detroit, and people know that that's from here. It took Detroit. Detroit is just now resurrecting after the riots in the 60s. Detroit just not getting things back after all of this time. For real, Detroit was a wreck. I remember going down Detroit, my moms and pops in the 80s. We'd go to Canada almost every day. So we riding through Detroit, like we was in Detroit every day, Canada almost every day. They have friends in Canada and whatever. But Detroit going through downtown, it was a wreck. It was a mess. You know what I'm saying? The riots that happened in the 60s, Detroit took forever to that's what happened to Detroit. Detroit, look, black people learn from the riots. We learn from them. Think about it. The riots of Detroit was on its way to be a major Detroit was a major metropolitan city. You had New York, Chicago, Detroit, you know what I'm saying? You had New York, LA, Chicago, Detroit. Detroit was the top echelon of cities in the United States at one point. Those riots happened with Detroit. And it knocked Detroit off. Companies like General Motors, White Flight, you heard of things called White Flight, the people or the money that was actually in Detroit. People left and said you can have it. We got to have a real talking discussion about what happened to Detroit. Because what happened to Detroit is this, in a lot of cases. When those riots came, white people fled and left Detroit, and they ran to places like Pontiac. Pontiac was majority white people when my mother and father was young. Pontiac Central, Harrington School, all the Washington, Jefferson Junior High. Pontiac became the refuge where a lot of white people came north. And Pontiac is 30 minutes north of Detroit. So they came to Pontiac, and General Motors was here and stuff like that. Same thing happened to Los Angeles when Los Angeles had riots. There was a lot of white people that lived in Compton, but they wind up. So what happened was a lot of white people came this way, the Pontiac, Waterford. This is like little cities. I know, Black Mama, you probably don't know, but the riots destroyed Detroit so bad and pushed the money out of Detroit for so long that Detroit is just not getting it back. Over the last 10 years or so, 15 years, there's been a renaissance or a resurgence of Detroit. It's really ain't even looking like Detroit like that for real. It's looking so good down there. Like I went down Detroit after a while of not being there, and I'm like, this Detroit? You know what I'm saying? Just like but the riots, black people realize that destroying your own community is going to take out resources and funds that you ain't going to never probably get back, or it's going to take a lifetime to get back. So it took, after the riots in 1960 into the 60s, it took Detroit almost 40 to 50 years to recover from that. And Detroit, it still ain't fully recovered, because if you go down to a lot of places in Detroit, you can still see the remnants of burned, abandoned buildings from the 60s. Whole neighborhoods destroyed from the riots. So black people understood that and got that here anyway in Detroit. And since then, you ain't really had that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it destroyed it. Like Detroit, if those riots wouldn't have happened for Detroit, if those riots wouldn't have happened for Detroit in the 60s, late 60s, Detroit would be on, in my opinion, the Atlanta That was it. Detroit was Atlanta. That was what Atlanta became, or what Atlanta was is what, or what Atlanta is what Detroit was. Pretty much. You know what I'm saying? I mean, New York was always New York. Los Angeles was always Los Angeles. Those were going to be the places that they were. But Detroit, because the entertainment and the location and the history of those places. But Detroit was really Atlanta before Atlanta. You know, and so, you know that, and you know, that's what happened with Detroit. So I think people realize up here what rioting really does. You know, it's hard to recover stores. People don't want to rebuild. It takes forever for investment to come back. If people are scared to put their dollars back into a place because they feel like investment is not going to happen. It's not going. And with that happening, Black Mama, it is hard because of what happened with the riots in Detroit. Places like Flint and Pontiac have suffered because Pontiac and Flint, Saginaw, black communities, whatever, those are small microcosms of pockets. Southfield, these are all little pockets of what Detroit is. Let's see. April, what's happening? Hey, April, I sent you a link. If you want to pop in, you can. It's up to you. Doesn't matter if what is burned is not ours or to own. When we as a culture riot, we typically don't destroy things that belong to us. Well, that's a great question. We don't really own anything at the end of the day. But why you do? Okay, so if you do destroy some stuff, like you say, and if we typically don't own them, they're in our communities at the end of the day. So now that you're destroying things that's in our communities, if we own them or not, we don't have them anymore. We don't have them anymore. If they still in, quote unquote, the community that we reside in or live in. So that's one less store that grandma can go to. Or that's one less store that grandma can, can get. Well, Monique said that's a lie. Monique, elaborate. That's what we here for. That's a lie. Who are we? Is that to me or to April? I don't know for sure. So even if we don't own a lot in our neighborhood, quote unquote, those stores or those businesses, April, that's a lie. Oh, okay. We got some disagreement, discord. Hey, look, guys, we got the phone number. We got the phone number. You can call in 248-905-1128. Please call in. And, Monique, call in if you like, 248-905-1128. I think I'm pronouncing your name right. Call in and let us hear what you're talking about. But those riots, why would we destroy things that's in our community? They never come back. Like I said, in Detroit, you know what I mean? Look, and I was talking about this the other night. I got a small business. If somebody came, destroyed, and looted my business, a lot of people can't afford the best and the greatest insurance or whatever. It's hard to rebuild and come back to a community. Or you scared to come back. You can't invest. You know what I mean? You can't invest back into the community. So does it matter, like what you said? Let me say what you said. Does it matter if what's burned is not ours to own? When we as a culture riot, we typically don't destroy things that belong to us. We kind of do destroy. I don't know. You got to call in. Hey, April, I sent you the link. If you want to come on in, because I think this is a great. I think that's a great comment. I would like to elaborate more on that. Whoever want to come in can come in. I'll give you the phone number. Not only that, I will send you the link. You can jump in and let's talk about that. What does rioting really do to a community? Because we see as Detroit, places like Pontiac, Flint suffered. Pontiac definitely suffered. You know what I'm saying? We seen big business leave, investments left. and never came back. And if they came back in a minimalistic way. You know what I mean? Like those, it's you know. Let's see what Monique has to say. Saying y'all don't destroy what y'all don't belong is y'all is a lie, and that's all I say. I got that. All right. I believe that looters destroy stores because they have no real interest in the growth of their communities. They are just there to make money and oftentimes exploit us as a culture. Let's unpack that. I believe that looters destroy stores because they have no real interest in growth in the community. How about they just damn criminals? They are just there to make money and oftentimes exploit. Let's see what Monique just said here. I'm in Pontiac, so we never had a riot in my years, but we do protest. Yeah, Monique, before you jumped on, I was talking about earlier, like I remember my father was younger. He was telling me a story. He's no longer here, but there was riot in Pontiac during the times of the Detroit riots. They kind of spilled over into Pontiac a little bit, and people were going to go in between Pontiac and Detroit. You know what I'm saying? And he happened to do that and got himself caught up by them laws that night. And but there was riots in Pontiac a while ago, you know. But you know, cities like Detroit that have big, huge riots, like the riots that they had, you know, they don't really recuperate. You know what I'm saying? And then take, look, 40, 50 years for Detroit to even look like they recuperating, but look what Detroit lost. And what I was saying is that, you know, us as black people, I think when the Latino community, what they going through and they rioting out there in Los Angeles and they want black support, I think black people are kind of like, nah, we sitting this one out, is because we already see what happens to our community. It's hard to rebuild in the first place. And a lot of these places that are leaving or they're packing up, they ain't never coming back. You know, it's hard to rebuild. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people, when it comes to this rioting and looting and stuff like that, black people ain't really with it this time around. And black people are, quote unquote, being shamed, it looks like, into trying to be a part of the protests, quote unquote, riots. They don't look like protests to me. They look like riots. So if anybody has an opinion about that, please call in. I'm going to go ahead and put this up. April, I sent you the link if you'd like to come in. They recoup through gentrification. Well, yeah, you have a point, and yeah, they probably do. But yet and still, hold on, let me put the number up. Even that takes time. You know what I'm saying? And through the process of gentrification, what do? So take a look at this, okay? You riot, you fuck up the buildings, you fuck up whatever you got going on in your community. You ain't got it no more. You ain't got the stores, dry cleaners, or whatever else you got, right? So now you burnt out, and you really ain't got a lot of stores and stuff like that. We already complaining we ain't got no stores in our neighborhoods anyway, right? So now they're gone. Right? It's taken 40 years for gentrification to happen. Between those 40 years of the gentrification to happen, what are we building? We ain't, us as people haven't built stores to replace the stores that were built, burnt down. And real stores, real things that we can, use. So what did it say? So where are you seeing all your info? Because 85% of the protests that's happening in LA is peaceful protests. Well, I like to get I don't just take my information from ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, ESPN, HBO, all of that, whatever. I get my news directly from the people. And that's a couple of people that I do know that's in Los Angeles, number one. Also, I'm looking directly at people pages and people that are actually reporting their own boots on the ground or what's happening. So if you say 85% of the protest that is happening in LA is peaceful protesting, well, what is 15% of rioting is a hell of a lot when you consider that. So if 85% is peaceful, quote unquote, that you saying, then it's still 15% rioting, right? That's a lot of people. And that's a lot. So if you got 200, let's just say you got you only calling it a riot and not even a protest is crazy. Well, I haven't really seen well, like I said, if I'm wrong, hey, look, Monique, I am cool to be still corrected. You know what I mean? I'm cool to be still corrected. That's what I'm saying. If I'm wrong, enlighten me. You know what I mean? I'm not going to argue that I'm wrong and you're right, or vice versa. Let me know where I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Call me. Let me see. Well, that's a bad apple. It goes, person basically the same thing. So just call and give us your opinion. I see it, but I like to hear it. 248-905-1128. It's all love. Like I said, at the end of the day, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? If you're right, you're right. I'm with being wrong. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no problem. I've been wrong a lot in my life and trying not to be wrong too much more. So if it's something that I'm missing, let me know. But from what my perception is, 15 to 20% of rioters is a lot. You know what I'm saying? So, that's a lot. That's a hell of a lot. So if you got, let's say, just throw out a number. If you have 10,000, this is Los Angeles. So if you got 10,000 people out there, that's 10,000 people, okay? And 7,000 of those people or 8,000 of those people are peaceful protesting, right? But you got 2,000 people rioting. Shit, that's a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of people, a lot of destruction. You know what I mean? And like you say, a lot of people, that can be, a couple of bad apples. We got April. I'm pretty good. Hold on. Okay, you just showing you just got in your voice. You don't got your picture, right?
Yeah, I can. I'm in my
Okay.
nightwear.
Okay, we don't want to show the people. You got to be in your nightwear. What's going on with you? How you been?
I've been good. How about yourself?
I've been hanging in there, April. It's been a road, but I've been driving it. but
Right.
but what do you think about this whole situation and your take? I know we probably differ with opinion on that.
Yeah, I think well, what I was trying to say, because I'm terrible at texting quickly, is that I believe that most protest begins peacefully. And unfortunately, we live in a society where sometimes when you try to come to the table with peace, you're not heard in the same way as you do when you start cutting up. So, a lot of times when we see these riots happening, it's because people have been doing these peaceful protests for so long that they don't feel heard. So when people don't feel heard, you get tired of not feeling heard. And then when you got these police officers, mean mugging you, trying to be aggressive, all it takes is one thing, and then it's that domino effect. Somebody snaps, and then and that's how we go from 0 to 100.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't believe that when people have intention to speak their piece and mobilize, they're doing it with malice. They're coming at with at they generally do these things with intent to mobilize change and in a peaceful way. Unfortunately, you know, it doesn't end up happening where it's peaceful, because our society, they thrive off of negativity and people trying to knock you off your square when you're trying to do right. The negative things always are louder than the more positive things. This is why news media and all of that thrives, because they would rather show you all the negative things going on in the community versus the positive things.
Monique, also, by the way, you can call in if you like. I will. This way, you can talk to April. The number is 248-905-1128. Monique, I invite you to call in. You know you won't be on the screen. You can just call on the phone, 248-905-1128 if you like. Hey, Miss Porter. So, what do you feel about this, though? I mean, ultimately, do you feel like ICE and what's happening? Do you think this is ultimately wrong? You think you should just leave the people alone and let them be here? What do you feel like black people should, quote unquote, join the fight, or how do you, I mean, April, what do you think about this? I mean, do you feel like, what we should do about this?
Well, I think that that's a difficult question for me to answer because I'm biracial. So I'm part Latina, and so my stance with immigration, I'm only second generation born in the U.S. And I remember when my grandmother became a U.S. citizen, and how many times, and my mom tells me how many times she got deported before she even became a U.S. citizen,
Wow.
sent back to Mexico. So for me, you know, my thoughts on this are going to be way different. I do believe that this is not per se as a community our fight if we don't want to fight it, but somebody like myself, if I lived in LA, I would consider it because it hits a little different for me. I'm all more of I'm a peaceful person.
Mm-hmm.
When things get a little violent, that's when I would withdraw. But
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely be one of those people holding up a sign somewhere on the sidelines. But the minute that there's some, guns a blazing and all of that, I'm definitely
Right.
retreating because I ain't
I
about
gotta go
that
home.
either.
Hey, I ain't for this. Hey, so Monique says, and some people feel like this. She says that ICE should just, probably just actually take the criminals. Should probably just take the criminals, and black people want Hispanics to join their fight. Right? That's what she's asking. I guess I don't know if Monique is asking me that black people want Hispanics to join their fight. I don't think we per se ask or look for black people, nobody to actually join us. I
No,
mean,
I don't
I
think
can't
so
speak.
either.
Yeah, I can't speak for saying, hey, we come on, you join. You know what I mean? But what do you think about what she says? ICE should just, actually just take the criminals, but
We all know that ICE ain't doing that. See, right now,
what they doing?
we got people who are just being taken into custody because ICE is just grabbing and snatching and asking questions later. They don't care. If you look too brown, if you look like you Haitian, if you look like you Mexican, if you look like you Asian from another country, you speak with an accent, nobody is safe. And that's the misconception, and that's what we need to not sleep on, is the fact that we are not safe. You as a brown person, you are not safe. You can be mistaken identity. You might look like you come from a Haitian community and be snatched up and be very well born here in the U.S. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing that we need to be conscious of, is that this is not just one culture's fight. This essentially can escalate to everybody's fight. Nobody is safe. They are not sitting there checking people's IDs, running people's paperwork. They ain't doing that. They're just snatching people up, and kids up, and students up at the university, and then asking questions later. And they don't care about how traumatizing that can be for somebody. They're not doing that. So no, I mean my feelings about ICE is fuck ICE.
We got James that just joined. I don't know if you can see. James just popped in. James, you good?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you good, man. Catch you up to speed. I'm pretty sure you kind of know what's happening. We just talking about these what's going on with the ICE raids and black people withdrawing from, saying, hey, we ain't in this when you on your own. What's your take on it? I mean, which we all knew it was coming, you know what I mean? But we see it happening now. So what's your take?
Yeah, I don't really think that a lot of black people are saying it's like really your fight, you on your own, but it's more of a situation that we're not dealing with. We already have a battle, you know what I'm saying, outside of that. You know what I mean? So it's really for them to handle. We have, you know what I'm saying, issues that we have to deal with as well right now. You know what I mean? So, it is what I would like to say is blacks and Mexicans actually have a pretty long history. It's just that a lot of people don't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
The South, what we call the South, used to be Mexico.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that. Texas used to be Mexico.
Hey
California
man, we
used to
live
be
in a day
Mexico.
now. We live in a day now. Everybody should know that now. Come on
Yeah,
now. You
hey
about
man,
literate
that
as a box of rocks if you don't know that.
man, it's a lot of people don't know. Man, I know really educated people that don't know that. You know what I mean? So, um, and during those times, a lot of people migrated to Mexico. You know what I mean? So we actually fought, you know what I'm saying, with the Mexicans against the French, kicked their ass. So we do have a history, but you know what the United States had to do was manipulate a situation.
Mm.
And they did what they always do. You know what I'm saying? As far as black people, they got us thinking that, you know what I'm saying, we should hate each other. And the woman is the head of the household just to cause despair, just as well as they did with, you know what I'm saying, Americans, African Americans, even though I hate to say that, but just for, commentary, and Africans in Africa. You know what I mean? It was their job to make sure that we didn't recognize each other the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And as long as we don't recognize each other the same way, they keep us apart. But the thing is, I think there's two reasons they collecting all of these immigrants. Number one, 80. Well, I won't give a percentage because I don't know how precise it is. A lot of these prisons are privatized, and when they getting these migrant workers, they're paying them $1 a day.
Right.
In these prisons, they're not shipping them off like people think they are. You know what I mean? So they're getting free labor out of these prisoners. Number two, if you look up how many Mexicans are in the United States, you look up how many black people in the United States and how they document it. Once you put those numbers together and you put these two people together that actually fought in the war together before and fought off, you know what I'm saying, a big country, that's why they never wanted Haitians in the United States.
Hmm.
Haitians were the only group of people that ever won their independence. You know what I'm saying? In a flat out war. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of dynamics to it. You know what I'm saying? And they just scared. You know what I'm saying? And it's just a time for them to to really, the best way I could put it is just show their ass, because that's what they doing on every level.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm saying? And they doing it on purpose. They making it so that it's blatant. You know what I mean? Removing street signs that's named after Martin Luther King. Removing even murals, and you know what I mean. It's getting to a level of you know it's like it's just here. Like ha ha ha. This is what we can do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much where I'm at with it. I don't, you know what I mean. It ain't I said and I learned another fact about it was 1871 that United States became uh uh I guess the best way to put it is a company.
Okay.
And there's two branches of the military that uh don't that didn't have to pledge to the Constitution. You want to guess what two branches those are?
Let's say the Marines and the Navy.
Nope, the Marines and the National Guard.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you notice, the only two people that they're going to send out to handle any dirt will always be the Marines or the National Guard. But it's the National Guard. The funny part is, it's the National Guard's job.
Yeah. Yeah. The
That's what
National
they were
Guard.
commissioned to do. They're commissioned to handle, you know what I'm saying, in country
Beef.
situations.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so pretty
Well.
despicable, disgusting shit going on, man.
Well. Yeah. It's conflicting, man, because at the same time, like I say, it's messed up to see. In my opinion, I don't like to see families broken up, split up, because I'm a family person. I like family oriented things, and I think family is the core of everything that you have. But then also, I'm looking at it in the perspective of a situation of you really can't do it in any other country. I mean, you can't. And I get, I mean, how many resources you can't have. You can't have just too many, people here illegally getting benefits illegally. You know what I mean? You can't. How long can that go on? You know what I mean? And yes, I believe that maybe ICE is snatching up folks, and like you say, and asking questions later and trying to figure out and sift through sift through or whatever the case may be. But I think in the majority of I ain't saying everything is being done right, but at the end of the day, something has to be done. How do you don't have forever to do it though? You know what I mean? And it's like, what you ain't got another 15, 20 years to try to get the immigration things together. You kind of got to get it together now. And hoping that
What
it don't be unhumane, but how do you get people out of here that ain't supposed to be here?
well, that's the thing, bro. That's the thing. And I really hate hearing that because immigrants being here has never been a problem. It's
Yeah.
how the United States got built. That's just number one.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? These false narratives that's being put out about immigrants only come from a specific group of people, bro. We can't the prices of our food and shit is directly it ain't even the tariffs was stupid as hell. But the price of our food and shit is going up because of what they're doing with the immigrants.
Hmm.
Bro, there is nobody, I keep saying it over and over, it's not non-factual.
No,
We, go ahead.
no, I was
Have you
just
heard?
responding to Monique. But Monique, it'll be okay if you call in. I'm gonna put the number in. Monique, you got a lot
Come
of
on
good
in,
stuff to say.
Monique.
Call. Monique, just call in. Don't be scared. We love you.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say, Asante, that you know, some of it, what's going on is like borderline, it's borderline like racism just thrown into our face in a way that it's like make it make sense. You know, don't let's not forget that Donald Trump sat there and pardoned all these people that incited a whole insurrection at the Capitol. But now we got rioters in LA and he's deploying the National Guard. So like, okay, we got that. Make it make sense. And then we just got him giving out stipends to South Africans for agriculture. These are people who are coming into our country that because we're sitting here talking about we don't want immigrants. The immigrants that are here are picking our strawberries, they're working our chicken factories, they're doing all the stuff that nobody else wants to do because they're not paying them
$8
$15.
billion a year. $8 billion a year is what them immigrants bring to this country. That's how much they make.
Exactly. So look, so
Eight
so so they
billion.
so this is how crazy, and this is the things that we
And they
don't
don't pay
off.
taxes on it.
Exactly. And so this is the thing that we are not seeing, we're not seeing on media portrayed. We're seeing all this stuff, but we're not seeing right before our eyes. Bringing South Africans by the drove. And it ain't the black ones, it's white South Africans that they're bringing in, giving them stipends to set up housing and land to build farms. That's
And
happening real time right now.
and they the worst of the worst that's coming over here. They're the ones that want to come over here and scam. You know what I'm saying? Look, this is the common sense factor, and that's what make me mad because I done been to Africa, I done been all over the world. Why, if you have money, would you run to another country where a dollar difference is $1 American is 18 of their dollars over there? They
Mm-hmm.
could have just went somewhere else in Africa where it's not a problem. But the truth of the matter is there's nothing happening to those people over there. Those farmers and all that shit. There's nothing happening to them. Now the government's taking their thing back. There's such thing as common sense, bro. You know what I mean? There's no way you should be over there owning these diamond mines for 80 fucking years. You not here when we know you stole the shit.
Right.
You stole it. Now you done made all this money. Now it's time for you to let it go. That's just all it is to it. You got Abraham Torre. They're finna, the world is about to change. And then nobody really wants to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. If my whole family could go to Ghana right now, you know what I'm saying? And that would be cool. That's where I would be. I wouldn't be here.
Mm. Hey, the ICE come knocking at your door. You
Man,
like,
fuck
what you
ICE.
think?
ICE could eat a dick.
So let me ask you this then. I mean, let me ask you this, man. See, I'm gonna just kind of go off and piggyback what you just said. If you said you can go to Ghana, and right now if you could, or bring your whole family, why is everybody struggling and ruffling to get here then? If it's so bad, and then part two, do you think it's helping during the protest, quote unquote, riots, to be waving Mexican flag or the Honduras flag or the whatever
No, that's
flag?
the stupidest shit ever. But it's a pride thing. You know what I'm saying? Because they feel like I should be able to do that because that is the right of an American. It shouldn't be a problem. So
But
that's
they
what
not.
they're
But what
saying.
if they're not Americans?
But
See,
that's what I'm saying. These motherfuckers.
that's why it's stupid. Because it's like the people. I think they making themselves stick out in a lot of ways, like sore thumbs with the
Yeah, they
shit that
are.
they doing.
They are. They are for sure.
They need to be sitting their ass in the cut. I mean, quite honest, like the protesting and this shit. Like I
No,
wouldn't even
well,
be
see,
doing.
no, they're losing. No, because they're losing. Now it's different when they put out the thing, black people stay your ass at home. We're gonna rally. The good white folk told us, and it made sense. You know what I mean? And that did come from white people first, and that's what I hate when other black people take something and then turn it into what they said. You know what I'm saying? That came from some particular people, but nevertheless, we don't need to be out there. It's a point to why we didn't need to be out there. But these people are actually getting their family. I literally watched a video, bro. I had to quit watching it. You know what I mean? Where a guy, you could tell, like he had his shit together, man. And the motherfuckers came and took his wife and kid right in front of him. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't nothing he could do, but just sit there and cry and record the shit. So their family is being taken. They need to. You know what I'm saying? And I hate to say it. You know what I'm saying? But they do need to show strength and power. What they're doing in LA, you know what I mean? Hey, I'm not for violence, bro, but sometimes you just gotta you really
So,
do have to stand up.
so what do y'all think is they at the end of the day? So, what do you think is going to be? I mean, either one of y'all can answer this or both. I mean, what do you think going to be an overall outcome? You can show all the strength and shit that you want. I mean, I still gonna come and get you. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
can show all the strength you want.
it take a particular group of people. You know what I'm saying? These
No, it
people.
take us to get involved. That's why I think they want us to get involved.
Right,
You know what I'm
yeah, they
saying?
want, yeah. If we got involved, it would change the dynamic. But this is the thing: in the United States, we have been black people in the last, I would say, 15 years. has been treated so bad by American Mexicans
Oh,
that
that's what they
that
saying.
people are saying fuck them.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. I remember, I game, you know what I mean? And I will tell the honest truth, bro. I
Mm-hmm.
have been on the game and it has been a Mexican and was, calling me all type of niggers and all that and go back to Africa. And I'm like, bro, is you serious?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the prison system, it's the same. In the prison system, they don't even deal with us. You know what I'm saying? The blacks and Mexicans don't get along, and even in the prison system.
No, they don't.
You know what
So
I mean? But my thing is to look up. I have to study where the divide came in. I have to go study and see what a year came in. Something happened, but it's always a
so
government
so
plot.
let me play this and tell me what you guys think of this.
I want black folks to come and fight with y'all. Come stand on the front line like we always have. But ain't this the same group that refuses to stop saying the N-word?
That's what you were saying.
This ain't the same group that was being racist in Zoe Spencer comments when she was going back and forth with that Hispanic credit.
To all African American citizens of the United States of America, I think, sit your butt down. Don't you dare march. Don't you dare demonstrate. Don't you do a thing. We did what we needed to do in the 1960s. Do you understand?
The issue is
What you think? What y'all think about
She
that?
click. A lot of those people, I think that's clickbait. That's just clickbait. That's common sense. We already know that. She doing it for attention. That's all that is. But you know what I'm saying? We already know that was just, sometimes we have to,
Is it truth to that?
make statements that are but I'm saying we know though. You know what I'm saying? We know. We didn't need her
Yeah,
to tell us.
I think that as a collective we know that this ain't our fight, but I do think that if you feel compelled to be a part of it, then you should do what you feel is right to you. But I definitely feel as a collective that we should definitely be setting ourselves out of a lot of stuff. And I think this again, this is one of the things that this is not our battle. But I already told you how I feel about it. If it was me, you know, I would be a part of it because it means different to me than it might be for the next person.
Right.
But you don't. And but another thing, like I said, it's like 44. I'm gonna say a number, and I know it's extremely close. It's 47 million documented Mexicans in the United States. You know what I mean? And there, the number of how many undocumented, I would dare to say, no doubt that is half of that. You know what I mean? But the thing is, they make the world. You will never get me to say that they don't make the help the world go around.
Oh yeah,
You know
absolutely
what I
they do.
mean? And but that's the thing. That's why we're going to be hurting. If they decided, you know what? If the if the Mexicans decide, you know what? All of us is going back. America is through.
Well,
If
nobody
all the
asking
black,
everybody to go back. I mean, but I mean, if look, if all the elite, the non-documented people, if all of those people went back, I don't think the country gonna
we
suffer though.
still through. No,
No, I don't
because
think
the
so.
Mexicans
Definitely
that's
not.
here,
Definitely not.
bro. It already been stated. It is true, bro.
Nah, bro.
We already seeing what happened from them just from the ice raids. Now this is just a small
Exactly.
thing, bro. This is only months, Sante. You're not looking at the big picture. This is only months, bro.
School me. School
Right.
me.
Right.
This has only been a couple of months.
We need migrant
We need
workers.
our illegal. No, no. I ain't saying that we don't need migrants. We need
We need
illegal
we need
migrants,
we need we need
illegals.
legal
Just say
immigrants
that.
as
Just say we
well.
need illegals.
We do need illegal
Yeah, we
immigrants
do.
because
We
of
can't
how our
function without 'em.
society. We do need them. We do,
Okay.
and it is by design how the United States has everything set up. We've gotten to be so capitalistic that we can never ever we would sit there and frown upon a tomato that cost us $4 because ain't no American citizen gonna go out there in the hot ass sun and pick tomatoes for nothing less than $15 an hour.
They would
They're
if
not doing it for that.
Exactly. Facts.
so what's that
They
saying
not,
about
and
so
it's
what's
not
that saying
just that
about
though.
yeah, I was about to say, so what's that saying about Mexicans? That they are is that stereotyping that they just a bunch of cheap laborers?
They
No,
are.
Is that
it's
It's a
not a
basic? Because
reality.
so they a bunch of cheap that's cheap laborers.
no, no,
Yeah,
no.
Cheap
it's a
laborers.
reality.
That's who they
It's
are.
not a. I don't feel no. No, not at
Because
all.
that's kind of how it
It's
sounds.
not. No, no. It's not a stereotype. Something. See. What we got to think is that our
We
U.S.
can do this to
dollar.
them because
Our
they are here illegal. So
no,
they can do
no.
those cheap labor jobs because that's the only jobs they can do because they're illegal.
Well, so that's twofold. There's twofold in thought in that what you're saying. So, no, every human has value and worth. Everybody's value and worth looks different. And in Mexico, the peso is not the same
Well, let
as
me
the U.S. dollar.
absolutely
So a
right.
U.S. dollar here, no matter if they're getting paid $1, it's still probably more than they would make
It,
in
it it
Mexico.
was, but let me ask you
So
this.
it's not cheap labor to them. They're
Right.
just doing what they got to do to
Well,
survive, as all of us do. We do what we
absolutely.
got to do to survive.
So what I'm saying is this: the Mexicans or whatever immigrant, not just Mexican, whatever immigrant that's here documented, that's here legally, they ain't doing cheap labor jobs. The ones that
That's
are
what I'm saying. That was the point
the
I was
ones
about to say. They
right.
not. Yeah.
So the ones that are legally here are getting the 15, 20, 30, whatever they doing, just like everybody else. But we saying that we as a country need illegals here in order to do those cheap labor jobs. Basically, that's why we depended upon illegal immigrants to be here. That's what you're saying
Yeah,
the
we
country
are.
is.
That's what. Yeah, but you know, that's
I
how
don't
bad
choose
the
to believe
workforce
that. I
got.
don't think that. I don't
Okay,
think
I
that.
mean, but that I mean, for you to say that, bro, is crazy because, bro, and the thing is people only looking at the fact that they work at the farms, bro. They wasn't at the farm. They wasn't only at the farms, bro. Don't nobody want McDonald's. Do y'all remember? Go back to the pandemic. Right before the pandemic, who is everybody you see working at McDonald's and White Castle, Baskin Robinsons, all of those places, bro? All Mexicans because they all let them work because they get to pay taxes, bro. And the fucked up part is they paying taxes, but they can't file taxes. So the American government gets to keep. That's where you think that 8 billion come from. Eight
How can
billion.
they file taxes and can't pay them? Hold on, you can't do that.
I
Say
said
that
they
again.
pay taxes. They pay taxes on the money that they earn,
Mm-hmm.
but
Right.
they can't file taxes. The government
Exactly.
gets to
The
keep
earned
all of
income.
that money.
They can't
Well,
file earned income taxes
well,
is
they
what.
shouldn't be able to.
Yeah, but their paychecks are getting the FICA taxes removed. So the FICA taxes are being removed, so they're paying into our system of Social Security.
Monique, you need to
And I
call in.
wanted to say, I saw Monique said
Yeah.
saw a quick text that popped up
Let's see
that
what
we're
she
only talking about Mexicans. But please believe, Monique, I do not. I recognize that is immigrants do not just mean Mexicans. I'm part Mexican, and I know it's Haitians out here that are coming in to the United States. It's Chinese, Asians. It's all. It's Cubans. It's a lot of everything that's coming. But that's my only point when I'm saying fuck ICE. I'm saying fuck ICE because right now they're targeting brown people. They're not targeting white Russians that are coming. White Russians coming here too. They're not getting snatched up. They're white Russians. They're targeting brown people, Haitians, Mexicans, Cubans, brown people.
Yeah, well, that's the goal. You know what I mean? But you know what I'm saying? They don't look. They getting that free labor. They getting that free labor out of it. In them camps, I know people that they even stop these people because I knew people that volunteer. I know attorneys that volunteer at those. To go to them uh prisons that they at. That's attorneys, and they had them people working a whole week to earn a phone call.
Mm.
Mm.
One phone call, and they're making $1 a day. You know what I mean? So I mean, This even shit that I said I wasn't even gonna talk about, man, because the motherfuckers do be listening. But this is common knowledge. People know it, but I only feel safe to say it because there's so many other people that's verbalizing these things. You know what I mean? That know it, that you might see on TikTok or somebody. And there's a lot of strong women. I would like to say, for the record, man, the people who be talking the most about these issues and not scared to say something, the majority of them, I would say 70% of it is women that's really speaking out and just telling the truth about what's going on. There's nothing, and I don't care what nobody said. There's nothing good about this administration, bro. I don't care if you hate gays to your soul. If you even are, if you're racist against other races, God, there's still nothing good about this administration unless you are a stone cold racist at this point. There's nothing you can say to make this administration right in any form. It is. There's literally nothing.
Right.
I mean, at this point, like it just like this shit. Like you couldn't. Who you old enough to remember what this shit is? The Twilight Zone, bro. We are literally living in a Twilight Zone. You couldn't have thought the strongest thing if you really went to school, you paid attention. The strongest, most powerful thing the United States had was a Constitution. I never would have thought in a million years that any party, even the Republican Party, would say fuck the Constitution and literally do what the fuck they want to do.
Right.
I, I couldn't imagine, like, in my deepest thought, bro. I'm not making this shit up, bro. That's
Yeah.
like,
There's so much abuse of power right now going on that it's like
So what would have been the alternative then?
I mean,
none
I'm
of
not
this would have
against
happened. I
this.
don't care if you would have let
Hey, okay, let me
Mr.
ask you
T.
this question. Let me ask you this question here. Now that it's all done, it's said and over now. It's all said and done, and I hate that Joe Biden was diagnosed with that. That's not a good diagnosis, what he was diagnosed with. Wish him the best, you know what I mean? We know he get his cancer diagnosis and all that. So that's not good. But they knew that when he was running, bro. And they hid it from the American people in public in saying that, the man was fit to run and was in condition. And then we had, Kamala take his spot in place to be his predecessor to do this. And she pretty much, lied and said the same thing. He was fit and whatever. Now looking back at this whole thing in hindsight 2020, I think it was the overplay for the underplay to get him in anyway and try to, know he couldn't finish he wasn't gonna be able to finish his term and have her come in anyway. So how do you feel if Kamala would have been president, if this would have, or Joe, and how do you think things would have been now? Do you think it was the right thing to keep the borders open? It would have been the right thing to, not impose a tariff or some type of guidelines on business being done
Right.
with America. I mean, do you feel like
Well,
things should have been status quo, stayed the same?
yeah, no doubt. But at the same time, now at this point as well, we know you can't find any statistician on the planet that would tell you that the tariffs was a good idea. You can't. Now it's all out there. They don't even said the shit on Fox before. Like, so we know that
Oh,
just wasn't a good choice.
oh my God, bro, come on now. The
We know the
tariffs, the
tariffs wasn't a
tariffs,
good
the
choice.
tariffs working, dog. The tariffs are working. Hey, we
Oh my
know.
God, you
Come on,
still on
dog.
that, bro? You so delusional,
Dog,
big dog,
we know the
man.
tariffs are working, dog. You know the tariffs working, bro. That's why China is making deals. That's why Canada making deals. That's why Mexico making deals.
You really
France,
believe
come
that?
on, dog. Yeah, they making deals, dog. Come on.
Man,
So
you
But
so
boy,
but let go ahead.
I ain't even
I'm
so
gonna get
quiet. I
into it.
shut up. I'm listening.
so the
I
level
ain't even gonna.
You know
the
me.
level of distraction is just
Uh-huh.
is just astounding. Like there's so many distractions just dangling carrots everywhere.
Hey, it's a lot
The
going
matter the
on. We
truth
can't
it
handle one
is
at
it is, but we got to put things in perspective, right? So immigration is not a new issue. There's been more deportations in President Obama's presidency than there has been now. So we
Oh,
see.
I hate. Hold on. So I hate when people say that. I hate when people say that because you can't state that yet. That's something that can't be stated because
Okay,
this man has only been in office January,
It's
so
only just
February,
begun.
March,
It's only
April. You know what
just
I
begun.
mean? So you can't
you're
say
right,
that.
Jay. You're right.
3.1
This
million
is we've
people got
only we
deported. 3.1 million people got deported
It's
under
only
Obama.
just begun.
we've only just begun. That's You're right about that. Let me retract
Ooh.
that. But let me go
Hey,
back to
when this
the
man
other
get done,
fact.
it ain't gonna be nobody.
let, let, let me retract that, but let's talk about these tariffs. I do believe that some tariffs may have been necessary, but I think it's too much too soon. I do think that we need to be less dependent on other countries, and we do need to be producing more of our own goods here. But with that being said, the way that this is going about is all types of backwards. We are becoming enemies to countries that were once our friends, and it makes it difficult when you try to be in the sandbox and play nice, and we got a bully president who don't want to do that. It's too much, too fast, too soon.
Oh well,
The
yeah, we
point
fucked
where
far as that
to the
go.
point to the point where we're gonna get left behind because all these other countries, what they're doing behind our backs is they are mobilizing. They are coming together and saying, okay, the U.S. wants to play like this. The Mexican president, she's over there in talks with Canada. She's in talks with China. She's in talks. They are not phased in the way that we think that they are. They're
Oh, they
just
not.
moving
China
with.
not for sure. That's why I said when Sante
Yeah.
said that,
So
that's a joke.
we are
That's
just
a
shooting
joke.
ourselves in the foot. Really,
Yeah,
at the
no
end of
doubt.
the day, we thinking that we all that in a bag of chips when we're really not. There's more than one
We
way to get
failing.
things.
They're
More than
So
watching
one
so
us
way to
so
get
so
fail.
things done.
Monique, and I hear since we all that and we that bad, hey, well, why don't everybody just leave and go to China and Mexico and go have a good life over there? Since you know what I mean, because it sounds like America. Look, at the end of the day, America is not what it's cracked up to be. It ain't we. But I damn for sure know that it's probably better than any other place to live right now. You know what I'm saying? I
Bro,
mean,
bro,
because
that's the
if
most ridiculous shit
dog,
I ever
dog,
heard in my
yeah, it
life,
is
bro.
because you know what? At the end of the day, people
No,
killing themselves to get here. People was dying in the ocean to get here. People were going
bro,
over. People, why is it so? Why are they coming here then? Why are
bro,
people coming here?
because you looking at now, you got to speak on people that is looking. You got people that's coming from
So you telling me that America
Tijuana
is
and
not the
other
best
places.
country in the in the world?
No,
Tell me
not
which
even
one.
close.
Tell me what it is then. If you can't
It's
give me an
it's
alternative, tell me
it's
what it
a
is.
bunch of them.
Well, why
It's a
everybody
bunch
want to
of them,
come?
bro.
Why everybody want to come
Because,
here?
bro, because of this
Why they
statement
ain't
right
going
here.
to those countries?
The American dream is fake. The shit is fake. It was
All right.
good. It was good that way before. Now it was good before.
So tell
Everybody
me what
still
that
hold on.
country
Let me
is.
finish.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah. Go
finish.
ahead. Go ahead.
So I'm about to throw religion in here. I'm about to throw Christianity in here. You still got all of these people that follow Christianity when you were made to be a Christian. And people are still teaching what their granddaddy taught their grandma. That's the same thing in these other countries. They heard their grandparents say you got to get to the United States to do this and do that. This is not the land
Of
that it
milk and
used to
honey.
be.
Absolutely not. But tell me what is though. I want to know if
Bro, there's so many places. Bro, Africa.
I
Hmm.
mean Africa is a
Africa is
huge
a
continent. I mean, what country in Africa would I want to go live in? That I'm gonna get
Ghana.
that I can do what I need to do the
Africa.
same that I'm doing
Bro,
here.
you could go to Ghana, Senegal, any of them places, bro. You could take what you got right now, Sante. You could take the money that you have right
And
now
live
and
large.
your equipment and go to Ghana and you would be rich right now. The things that you do that you take for granted that you say, I'm gonna cut my grass. Bro, you can have somebody doing that for 30 fucking cent a day.
I wouldn't
If
want
you
to
need
live
your
nowhere. I
grass
got
cut every day,
See, I
that's
wouldn't want
30
to
cents.
live but I don't want to live nowhere that I'm paying somebody 30 cents to cut my grass. That means that the majority of people
Well, it
around
ain't
me,
no
nah, that's
grass, but I'm just saying.
you know, But you
Well,
see what
it's
I'm
not
saying?
a
Yeah.
literal thing. It's not. I don't think it's a literal thing when we're saying 30 cents. But what I have acknowledged in my travels is that you don't. You know, you appreciate other countries. They're appreciative for the system that they have. The economic system that they have is what they have, right? So
Costa
here,
Rica.
so here we over here, if we were to take our retirement dollars or US dollars and go to another country, we could have a house manager, right? Because there would be a house manager for every house, and they're used to, you know, $100 a month. Here in the U.S., you have a house manager, a maid service. You're gonna pay more than $100 for the whole month. But over there, there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I got it, and showing more gratitude and say, because I got it, I'm gonna pay you more. It's not an expectation. It's just
Yeah.
you what you can. And nobody is saying just because it costs 30 cents per se to cut your grass cut that you got to pay them 30 cents. If your heart is telling you to pay them more, why can't we just
Nah,
pay them
hey,
more?
if the fee is 30 cents, that's what you're gonna get. It's just like here, you know what I mean? If it's 15,
So why
if
you
it's
got a
15,
problem with
no, they ain't my
with
heart.
30
That's what the
cents
going rate is. You know what I'm saying?
when in Rome
Yeah.
you do what Romans do.
Hey, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? If it's 30 cents, that's what you gonna get. You know what I mean? But it ain't 30 cents over here. It's $20. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's like, look, at the end of the day, look, we know America got its problems, is bad on racism, bad on classism, sexism, a lot, religion, faith. Yeah, the America has degraded from itself for long. It's long. I mean, long standing what is done to us. But I'm gonna tell you, in my opinion, it's far better than a lot of the places around the world right now. And I
Yeah.
can't really
But I
find a
can't
place.
take your word on that,
No,
Sante.
no,
Like I really
I can't. But I haven't lived anywhere but the United States. But all I can see is
exactly.
I can't see anybody else having the type of problem where people are trying to kill themselves to get to a place. This is the only place I've never heard of where people are dying to get here and dying to stay. They
But
ain't
you
dying.
see, that's the
People
thing.
ain't
But you
rioting.
haven't
Look,
studied nothing else then, because you
what?
gotta look at the people from Venezuela that
But
Yeah.
moved, that
but
went to.
like I'm cool with not ignorant, not knowing, and you telling me. But tell me another place where people are fighting to stay or fighting to get to, like the United
Oh
States.
man. So there's like
In South America, there's so many places.
Switzerland,
No, it's every bro.
Argentina.
Right?
There's
Yeah,
a lot
man.
of
Yeah,
places.
yeah,
On the
yeah,
scale and the rate
So for example,
of the United
yeah.
States.
let's talk about in Sweden, where their initiatives are different. They talk about green energy. The people over there are living longer because their environment is cleaner.
No, I'm talking about people
They
coming
got
to
free
live.
they got free health care for everyone. College education is free over there. Like we don't hear about stories about that over there. All we hear is that, oh, the taxes are higher over
No,
there.
I'm at the
People gotta
question I'm
pay
asking
more.
y'all is what country are people dying to get to outside of the United States
But
like
that's what
this?
That's what we
What?
saying. People are they leaving their country to get to those other countries.
Hell, we're leaving the United States to
Colombia,
other
look,
countries now.
like you got Medellin. Like you go to Colombia, the motherfuckers leave Venezuela to go to Colombia.
And there's
You know
US
what I mean? It's the
citizens who are
same way.
trying to
It's
leave
just like
now.
it's the same way.
I know a couple of US citizens who are trying to leave the United States because this is too much.
A couple.
Oh, it ain't a couple.
I know more than a
Several.
couple. And truth
Yeah,
to be told, if I could pick up and go to Mexico, I would.
Well, hey,
and
you
and
can,
Canada
but you
always
can,
look.
you can
Canada
go. No,
always been better.
you can go if you really want to, like you say. I mean, because your
I
dollar
can, but
travel,
I
your
can, but guess
okay,
what? The Mexican president over there,
you can't do what you right. You can't go over there.
she's deporting because of how Donald Trump is acting. She's starting to send Americans back. See,
Yeah,
that's the news that we
and
don't hear about because
But look what you coming back
that's how
to though.
politics that's how politics work.
See,
You
but
don't
look what you come. But
high
look what
ass
you coming
prices,
back to. Look what you
high
come.
ass prices in a racist ass
Yeah,
country. That's what
yeah.
they coming back
So
to.
for every 200 she send back, we sending 2 million or 2,000. It's like it ain't no. It's really no. Come on, y'all. We playing. We ain't even apples and oranges. at this point. It's like, look, people, I know, I know where y'all coming from, and I get what you're saying, but it ain't really no other nation that people are really trying to get to like this
Bro,
country. It's a reason
look it.
why.
That
And
it,
and
yeah,
at the end of the
yeah, it
day,
is.
and hold on one second, and at the end of the day, I think what's trying to happen is, look, you got to do something in order for something to happen. You gotta, if you continue to let people in, and I'm gonna be honest with you, and get free services and all that, you ain't gonna have a country too much longer. Black people that I know, honestly, have no, for real. Black people, as I know, honestly, have not been able to get some. Maybe they wick, some of they whatever they was using to get by on some poor white people too, because a lot of the country's resources went to the illegal immigrants over the last couple of years. I know people that actually need assistance.
That's the biggest lie ever,
No, it
bro.
ain't. No, it ain't. A lot of people I know that needed it was cut off.
You
But
find you find me one
right,
factual statement that states that illegal immigrants was getting funded money that prevented Americans from getting it, bro.
I'll show it to you. Well, go ahead while you talking. I'll show it to you.
Yeah, that ain't, bro. That's it. A lot of people they say
Where
that
else?
shit,
Where else do you think that
but
money's
it
coming
don't
from?
be
Though it's
true.
coming from the American
It
tax
don't be,
paper, right?
bro. Look it. I just gave you a number. Look, put the number together of how much money is getting given away. Do you know who gets the most aid? You know what race of people get the most aid?
White folks.
Okay. Now,
I said poor
once
white
again,
folks.
I put this number out there again. Immigrant workers are creating $8 billion in revenue. How do you keep overlooking that number?
No, but we're not talking about it. We ain't you leaving the one magic word out. Illegal. What is the illegal ones?
Bro, I don't give a fuck if they work
No,
for
no, no,
Satan,
no. You
Sante.
can't. No, you can't count that. You can't say immigrant. Okay, well, the ones that are here and
They are
documented are
illegal, sir. That's what I'm saying. They are illegal. I don't have to
so.
put it in front of their like, because that's what we talking about. We talking about illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants working here are making $8 billion a year. They're giving the United States. They're creating $8 billion a year on the low end. And guess
Mhm.
what? Guess where they're spending the money that they even making? Here. Now I know that Mexican people is good about saving their money and sending some back home. But at least 50% of that they spending here. And that's not counting the 8 billion that they're creating. I'm not talking about what they earn. So that's what I'm saying. And then if you look at, bro, do you know how much space that we actually live in the United States and how much space is available to be used is not being used?
Mhm.
So you think at the end of
We're
the
not
day,
running out of space, bro. We're not running out of space. We in a housing crisis right now. We're in a housing crisis. Who gonna build
oh
them
yeah,
motherfuckers if we need to?
Monique. I got a red hat too. Now I don't see things. I don't see things how you seeing them because at the end of the day, it's funny. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, a lot of even Mexicans, quote unquote, Latinos. I'm not gonna say Mexicans because Latinos is a whole. It could be a whole group. You know what I mean? Not just Mexican, but a lot of Mexicans or Latino group is saying, quite frankly, that they want the illegals gone too. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
and
saying? So
that's what be throwing the hell
that
out of
need to
me.
be addressed. That need to be addressed.
But
At the
it was that way before. But
oh, it's like
now they're not like that right now. They're not like that right now. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Before that, they used to joke and say, "Yeah, they need to take their ass back." And I used to have a bunch of Mexicans come in my store and say the same thing. But now that they literally seeing people getting snatched up and like that, they don't feel that way because
Yes,
that's who
they
you seeing out there
don't.
in the streets.
mm,
But that's what they were doing in Dearborn too. Remember when before all of this was going down, they were all for Trump. Now they're over there all retreating and stuff.
Oh, they threw.
And
Oh my god, bro.
they
They
realized that they'd have
yeah.
made a mistake, and and now
Palestinians for Trump. I remember the song. I was mad. I knew some of them people.
I
The
know
Mexican lady
they
that was up there,
realized.
Senor Trump, Senor Trump, Senor. It wasn't even a whole month before her ass was back up there to see what happened.
mm.
Yeah, they realized that they'd have made a mistake. But I wanted to say this. How do you make sense out of the fact that what I just said? So Donald Trump just allowed South Africans to come into the United States. Now, mind you, we on a mission to deport, deport, deport.
Hmm.
How do you make sense of the fact that
They should be gone
he
too.
he brought in South Africans, not just any South Africans, white South Africans,
Yeah, blatant
in
racism.
to come in, gave them land, gave them a stipend for housing so that they can farm land here in the US.
But look, this
How do
this
you
not
feel
new.
about that? How do you speak on
This is
that?
not
No, I think that
this is not new.
that's double standard, and it should be. I think that should be. They should be gone too. You can't. You can't have one group and then have the other, and it can't be double standard like that. It got to be across
You
the board. And now, if
you
you're gonna,
can't go. Oh my bad. Go ahead.
no, it need to be across the board. Now, if it's happening like that, like how you just explained it, it need to be across the board. If anybody's coming here illegally, I don't care. It ain't just Mexican. It ain't a Mexican thing. If it's Chinese, I said this at the very beginning of the show.
They
Anybody that's here
consider white.
illegally,
They
anybody,
consider white, so
anybody
they
that's
don't have to
illegal,
worry about it.
right? But anybody that's illegal shouldn't be, and that's any country that you dealing with. If I'm going, it don't make a difference where you from. If you here illegally, you should be
And
being
that's who
deported.
they giving money to right now. They're giving them money, bro. You can't take your ass to the Red Hat Club right now and tell them motherfuckers you want a smidget of an acre. They gonna tell you to beat it.
Mm.
But they done gassed up a jet.
Well, we've been asking for our
Hold
40,
on,
and we've been
listen.
asking for our 40 and a mule for a minute and never got it. And who been in power?
That's what I'm saying. They done
It don't make a
gassed up a
difference who.
jet.
It don't make a difference who's in power. We ain't gonna get it unless we get it ourselves. We done
No,
learned
but
that.
what I'm saying is it ain't been no other administration that been sending for nobody. Done gassed up a jet, got their ass, welcomed their ass back over here, gave them money and given them somewhere to stay.
Mhm.
That shit
Monique, you
ain't
say I'm
happening.
making it sound like all that. Hello, buddy. Right. Yeah, I mean, I got different opinion. I don't think in the box, Monique. You're just not finding out who I am. But yeah, but that's why you should call in. But yeah, I mean, I know it's getting late. I know I got to get up early. Hey, y'all. I'm gonna be. I know. Happy Father's Day coming up. I know. Juneteenth tomorrow. Downtown. I don't know. I know you've been hanging out a little bit, James. I ain't been able to get out like I want to lately, man. But I'm trying to get my feet back moving again, bro. It's been kind of a tough road for me the last couple of months, but it's whatever. But at the same time, man, I know you've been. I see you've been hanging out a little bit, man. I know downtown tomorrow is gonna be the Juneteenth, and then they're gonna have fireworks tomorrow night.
Oh, okay.
You rolling out or you out of town?
No, I got a birthday party to go to tomorrow night.
Mm,
I'm saying my boy Dwayne, a couple actors that I know are having a birthday party all together. So I'm definitely going to support that.
mm-hmm. And then they got is that, and then I know on the 20, I'm gonna put all this stuff up. The 27th is the debate with Pontiac United, and I don't know if anybody caught any of the live stream that I did a couple weeks ago when they did the not like meet the
Oh
candidates, but all the
yeah, that was great. Thanks
Yeah,
for
I didn't see that.
yeah, well they all gonna be Monique, hey, Monique on one. She ain't liking me, dog. I'm gonna jump in your DM now and mess with you. She told me don't be celebrating Juneteenth. but
Hey,
but
look, he right. He should be banned.
right,
He should
right,
be
right,
banned. He should
right.
definitely be
Yeah,
banned.
right. I shouldn't be me. But no, on the 27th, whatever. I think it's the whole debate. So I guess it's gonna be the ones like the main ones that we know. But it's gonna be live stream. But it's gonna be at ATAP on the 20. Yep, yep. So yeah, other than that, man, shoot, dog, I'm gonna get him because I got an early morning, dog, and then, but yeah, man, I'm gonna start trying to come on a little bit more often and start this thing back up, dog. I'm just trying to get myself back in the loop, bro. It's just been a hard one this last month or two, but you
Yeah.
know how it is. You know
Yeah,
how
uh,
it is.
I started my podcast. I've been hella busy. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? With pre-production. But I would like
Oh
to
yeah, you
say
up there? You up there shooting?
I'm about to start shooting, man. But a group of people was giving away a 2025 Chevy Trax.
Mm.
I got tickets for it. It's $50. and you can win with that $50. You can win a spank brand new 2025 Chevy Traxxas. So if
What?
anybody want tickets, you know what I'm saying, for the raffle, hit me up, and you know what I'm saying, I get you some tickets. Secondly, I still have about 13 roles available that I'm gonna post for my movie. And some of these they are actual roles. You know what I'm saying? That if people can come and, play them. I am offering, I'm trying my best to get more people from Pontiac into the movie. You know how people saying, people be gatekeeping and all that type shit. That's not me. I'm trying to look out for people, and I guarantee you, if you want to be an extra, that you will be in my movie. This is not no small production. This ain't no, you know what I'm saying. Uh, I don't want to say the wrong shit to make it look like somebody else's movie was. You know what I mean? But this is a real feature film. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be a big movie, man. So if people want to tap in, you know what I'm saying, make sure you get in touch with me, man, and I'll see what I can work out for you to get y'all in there.
Add Monique. Monique want to be in it.
Yeah,
Let her play the
too.
immigrant.
I do too.
Hey, look, you know what? I do
I'm
need
messing with you, Monique. See, I'm about
look,
to mess
I
with you.
do need
Right.
three male Mexican I do for the movie.
Make sure they
Because
make sure they
it's a scene
document it.
that it's a scene that I put in there because of the bullshit that's going on that I
Right.
added
I'm messing
about,
with it.
you know what I mean, about ice raids, you know what I mean? Because I know, being, I used to
James, don't
be a
get nobody in
builder.
that movie and trick them, and the real ice come.
Oh,
They,
that's so
hey, if they
messy.
come, they not getting. Hey, look, if they come, they not getting them. Not on my set.
Say not on your
That's
set.
right.
Not
That's
on my
right.
set.
Uh,
We gonna look. They gonna be out the
uh,
back door. You know what I mean? I ain't. But nevertheless, man,
right. I'm messing with
on some real shit though.
it.
The movie, man. Movie called Juke, man, and it's gonna
Oh,
be a hell of a movie, man. If you want to be a part of it, man, let me know. Reach out to me. I see if I can find something for you. If not, I'm gonna have extra roles, man, and we gonna get it in.
How do I find you, Jay, on Facebook? Are you because I'm on this link, so I can't.
Oh, it's James Gay. It's James Gay Senior, or is
Okay.
it just James Gay on there?
hey, how's the business going on, April? How's the shop going?
Business is doing great.
Good.
I can't complain. I'm blessed. Um, I do notice my pricing on ingredients and stuff have gone up,
Hmm.
but I ain't got no qualms at passing some of the cost to my customer base. Most of my customers they've been with me for a long time, so they get it. They understand.
Hmm,
Things can't cost the same thing as they did last year. That's just what it is,
hmm,
and I've also looked at things a little different. I'm doing a lot of more business to business transactions, getting my feet wet in the corporate world where I'm doing corporate handling accounts for corporate companies. I think the last thing I told you the last time we talked, I'm in a Starbucks now.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, so I make pastries for the Starbucks at the United Wholesale
Oh,
Mortgage.
wow. Congratulations on that. I forgot all about that you said that.
Oh
Congratulations.
yeah, yeah. So I'm doing things a little bit different. So to solidify and sustain.
Hmm.
I
But
might have to hit you up for some
Yeah,
set
that's nice.
snacks.
Yeah.
all right, please do. Yeah, I want to be an extra too.
Okay, who is Black Mamba? Who is Black Mamba?
Black Mamba, she's from Tennessee. She joins every time I come on. She one of the faithful people that finds me when I come on, man, and she always contributes, either comment or call. You know what I mean? She never been on,
Oh, okay.
and she does her own podcast, and she's an artist or an author, and she I try to catch her when I get on and see her going. But those a lot.
Okay, yeah.
That's a lot of good things, April, right there. Congratulations. I'm happy for you.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
I
that's big time.
appreciate you having me on. I'm gonna jump off because I got
Okay.
to get off.
Yeah,
Get
me too. Me too.
going. It was a great conversation, and I look forward to having many more. Y'all take care, gentlemen, and We'll talk again.
You as well. Make
All
sure
right.
you hit me up. Make sure you hit me up. And
I
you say
most definitely will.
Black Mama, she can look me up too if you got her, because I'm about to start doing podcasts. I'm about to start doing interviews
Yeah.
and stuff, man. I got a lot more stuff going on, production company and a lot of stuff. So people that's doing podcasts, I'm free right now, but
Mm-hmm. Well,
next,
now was the time. Hey, now was the time to do it. Now was the time to do it. Everybody got a voice, you know what I mean, and everybody got an
yeah,
opinion, you know what I mean. And it's shit. Why not? Why not? You know what I mean. You might be that
yeah,
that voice that the world need. For real, for real.
yeah. In fact, Joe said yesterday's price is not to in a minute. It's gonna be my
Yeah.
stock about to go way up.
When you do it, are you gonna have it like where a person comes on set, right? That'd be sweet. Where they come on
What?
set like you y'all in person. Or it's
My
gonna be
podcast?
yeah. Like
Yeah, I'm saying I'm not doing. I'm saying I'm about to start getting on other people's podcasts first,
okay. Got you,
and then
got you.
it's gonna be the build up for mine. So that's the reason I'm holding out. You know what I'm saying? I'm holding out. I got so much information and stuff that done happened throughout my life that people want to hear about. A lot of Detroit stuff, a lot of, you know what I mean? So,
Hey, one of the things I was talking about, dog, before you jumped on out, maybe we can get on this one day if you got time and want to. But I was talking about how the riots affected Detroit, how they affected Pontiac, ultimately, Flint,
ooh,
and all that shit. Because that's what I was talking about
a
that a
lot of
little
people
bit.
don't know about that.
Yeah, yeah, and how long it took Detroit to recover, and how Detroit is just now recovering, and how I was saying, in a nutshell, if the riots would have never happened in Detroit, and say nothing would ever happen, and Detroit continued to boom, I think Detroit would have been the Atlanta, quite
Oh my
honestly.
God! You referring to the '70s riots, right?
Yeah, the riots that happened
Yeah,
after Martin Luther
definitely.
King, and then after it was two riots: the Martin Luther King, and then the my pops was in actually both of them, but either
Yeah,
way it go, it took a long ass time for Detroit to
yeah,
recover. Just now, they just now recovering basically.
yeah. And
Detroit
they
would have
doing
been Atlanta,
amazing.
dog. Detroit,
Yeah,
yeah, but
yeah.
Detroit would have been Atlanta, dog.
Yeah, but the come up is crazy in Detroit.
It
Like
is.
they
Yeah.
got so much money right now, and I don't understand. But that's certain things I don't know about politics. Everybody think I know everything, but I don't, bro. I don't understand why. Since cities like Pontiac, I don't know if it's because of the population number or whatever, but Detroit has so much money. They got money that they have to give away, like 500 million on housing alone. Like it's a lot of shit going on. I'm Mary Sheffield for mayor Detroit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I think I seen a
But
picture or two with you.
yeah, man. So man, yeah. I mean, shit, this shit gonna happen, man. We just got to get this clown out of office. That's the only thing I'm saying before I get off.
Hey, well, you got 3 more years. I don't know unless he kick the bucket. You know what I mean? I don't think it's gonna happen, brother.
He pushing. You know what? This is another
It may.
conversation, bro. Bro, he pushing. You can't just step on the way that other countries is speaking. See, the thing is, these other countries not getting ignorant. They're not saying ignorant shit. They're saying real solid shit that makes sense.
Well, hold on. Let me
And the
address. Let
G6
me
is
address.
about
Let
to
me
happen.
address. Let me address Monique a little bit and get her in proper perspective. He got a Pontiac in his show and ain't even really talking about Pontiac. Hey, look, we talk universal. Everything affects Pontiac. You clown and his friend. Wow. See this. I don't even. You clown. You and he gonna die. All right, I really don't get her. See, but this is a lot of time, this where a lot of time, Monique, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people, when people disagree, I think you probably be one of those people that disagree with people and you start to go into the insult and that kind of degrades your intelligence, you know what I mean? You got to be a little bit smarter than that, Monique. That's why I kind of gave you the phone number you could call. You can state your opinion. But, Pontiac encompasses more than just, Pontiac WYAC or Pontiac whatever. A lot of stuff, everything that happens around the world, Los Angeles, New York, wherever, it affects here. What's going on in Israel and Iran right now affects here because we got a population in Dearborn that affects here, that people that got stores in Pontiac and Hamtramck and Detroit. So everything affects everything. And that's where your mind, I don't want you to be small thinking beyond where you at because it ain't just Pontiac, it's everywhere. You know what I mean? Like everything we all connected. Even with this Yeah, listening and understanding is two things. I try to make that, but I would love to have you join because you sound like you got a lot to say, and we willing to listen. But just like James could say different things, April could say different things. They know I'm gonna say different things, and we get it. You know what I mean? We ain't mad at each other, but a lot of times you gotta take emotion out of it when you talking. So Monique, feel free. Anytime I'm coming on, you see the number, call. I will give me your email. I'll send you the link and go ahead and just state how you feel. But we don't gotta degrade the insults because that
What
kind of
she say? You and his friend? What the? What's
I don't understand. You small. I been in places. You stay here. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't really understand what she's saying.
I don't know.
Next
I
time,
hope she ain't put me in that bullshit. Cause I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't
I,
agree with that shit. But nevertheless, if she do, you know what I'm saying? You can address me for sure, for sure. I'm not worried about, you know what I mean? I'm not Sante.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So I'm not, you know what I mean? I don't know, but I'm gonna leave it alone because she couldn't be talking about me, so I'm not going to say anything. And you know, yeah,
yeah. No, I'm just being nice with her right at the moment. You know what I mean? Uh, yeah. Yeah, he not Sante. He's a little bit more cool. James a little bit more cooler than me. I I don't want to jump up and down like a trampoline. You know what I mean? I'm being real cool. But Monique, at the end of the day, if you ever want to call in, you can, and test your intelligence against and just state your opinion. If you disagree, you disagree. Don't get mad. But yeah, man. But yeah, James. Yeah, bro. So maybe next time you come on if you want to, bro. Yeah, I was like I said, I wanted to talk about those riots, man, and how they affected like this whole area and how. But yeah,
yeah,
Detroit doing crazy good right now, dog. Like a lot of places you wouldn't even recognize when you go down. Be like, hold on, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, yeah.
yeah. It's crazy. It's a good look, man. And like I said, I could just only hope, man. I just wish, like people talk about the city of Pontiac, man, how they don't, you know what I'm saying, want to invest in the city or whatever. So I really do hope a developer come. I don't care if he white, black, or turquoise, and put, you know what I'm saying, some billions in the city to get it back to where, you know what I'm saying, it needs to be. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit that I care about. I care about my people, the people in my city, around my city. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Pontiac and Detroit nigga rolled all up in one. You know what I mean? So I really wish that we could Pontiac could get to the level that Detroit is growing to, and
What you
that
think
and that
about that downtown development? I think that's. I know a lot of
that's
people. That ain't a popular. That's not a popular. I know
she
the
say, there you
downtown.
go again, man. It ain't shit going look it because like I said, I'm not saying
Oh,
man,
I
it
ain't
ain't
even.
shit.
I
It
don't even know
ain't
what she's
shit
talking about at
going
this
on
point.
for real in Pontiac. It ain't no real money coming through that motherfucker. There's nothing, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad for all of my friends that I got down in Pontiac that's doing good, bro. But there's no real money coming through that motherfucker. So that Pontiac doing great? No, it's not. That's delusional in a motherfucker. Pontiac is not doing great.
Mm.
That's why you got people like me waiting for shit to happen so I can come and put some money in that motherfucker and do something. We can't even have a party, nigga. You have four motherfuckers having one party and you still couldn't fill that motherfucker up. So
Ooh.
how is it doing great? On some 100 shit, man. I don't know who she is, bro. Like, I don't, bro. Man, get out of here with that shit, bro. I don't want to hear that bullshit, bro. Anyway, dog, I tried to hold that
Yeah.
shit, man. I'm about to get the fuck up out of here and get in these
Look what she
motherfucking
say,
streets.
dog. Look what she say. You know the broke folks. We just letting her ride. You know what I'm saying? Let her
Did
handle
she
it,
say
dog.
broke?
You know the broke folks. That's why I got it.
Man, hey, she can have it, big
She
dog.
messing with. She
Hey,
trolling you, baby.
and she
Yeah.
just that's the most she gonna get out of me. That right there. Anyway,
Yeah. Well,
I hope
Jack.
she cute though. At least I hope she cute.
Well, look her up. You got it right here. I ain't gonna. You know what I'm
I don't. We on what you call it. I ain't gonna
saying?
waste my time looking at that
But
shit.
yeah, dog. I'll be on, bro. Thanks for popping on, man. We'll go ahead and
Yeah,
check out the rest
yeah.
of this
I ain't
game.
coming on your man. Fuck your platform. I
Man,
got this.
fuck your nigga, fuck your
Look
face. Get
out!
the
Look.
fuck off my shit, nigga. I don't want you on this bitch anyway, nigga. I don't even know what the fuck I sent you the link for, nigga. Get the fuck out of here. Talking that bullshit. I want to see your fucking face. Get out of here, nigga.
Yeah, all right, bro. I'll holler.
All right, bro. I holler, man. One love. Peace. All right, y'all. We about to get on out of here. I thanks James for coming and thanks April. I appreciate them every time they come on. I have a good time with them. And with that being said, thanks again for Pontiac WYAC. I'll be coming on probably the next couple of days, and we might be discussing some new things and new topics. But we just try to have fun, give everybody a chance, an opportunity to state their voice or whatever, and just have fun, and no opinion is a bad one. And, it's kind of cool to be edgy and, everybody ain't got to agree and still get along. I guess that's the key of what the show is all about, really. Everybody ain't got to agree and still get along. And we can live. We can live. With that being said, y'all have a good night, blessed night, and one love. Peace.